Hey, humanities students. This is like take 5 or 6 because I've had a few interruptions, and then I've experimenting with how to do this recording because I've never done one where I've done the screen and the webcam at the same time. So bear with me as we work our way through this, and I appreciate your patience. But the document I've got pulled up here is actually a Google Doc, but it is what I will also show up in your Canvas assignment page for this assignment, which is the My Identity Journal assignment. And actually, I take that back. I need to pull a different page over here because I got the wrong one. So let's see how this works. But again, your patience is appreciated. Bear with me. And yeah, here we go. There we go. This is the identity chart assignment. Mainly just pulling it over because I need to have something up on the screen. And so it seems like the most appropriate thing is to have the assignment. So this assignment, as the background says, is based on the reading orientation day, in which Jennifer Wong discusses her identity and the conflicts that she feels in regards to her identity because of her ethnic background of being both Chinese and American, and explores the ideas of what it means to be Chinese or American and how that defines us. And it's a really interesting concept. But what we're going to be doing is creating, or what you're going to be doing, I've already done, is creating what's called a Starburst identity chart for yourself for this assignment. And then you're going to use that to do a journal assignment and a Flipgrid activity. So I will tell you this activity requires some introspection and some self-thought and digging deep inside of yourselves. And I know a lot of times that that's not necessarily real comfortable, and students don't always enjoy that. But I think it holds a lot of benefits. And in the end, will result in us having a more successful and productive class as we move forward. And it's going to help me to get to know you better and your classmates, and I think help explore a lot of the things that we'll be exploring in humanities. So I would say you, excuse me, are going to be doing some journaling. I'm going to get a drink of water here. Pardon me. I covered my coffee even though I'm not in the room with you. I will say that we'll do some journal assignments in this class, and those things others will not see unless you want to share them. The same thing with this identity chart. I'm the only one that's going to see that. So I want you to be open and honest about things, but I also want you to be aware that as a teacher, I have certain legal obligations in regards to things that I have to share with authorities or others if I find information, certain types of information, um, which might indicate that you are in some kind of physical danger or otherwise. So just keep that in mind. I definitely want to listen to you guys, and I want to hear what you have to say. And even if those situations exist, I hope if you have nowhere else to go, that you would be comfortable coming to me and know that if I were to share that information, it would be in your well-being and in your best interest because I want to help you. Just keep that in mind when we do these types of things. So what I did was I created an identity chart that might represent how Jennifer Wong described how she saw herself in the reading. And then I also created one for myself, and I'm going to share those with you so you can see how your identity charts might look for this assignment. So I'm going to try to pull over the one that I created for Jennifer first. So hopefully you guys can see that. I think the screen is pretty good there. So Jennifer indicates here that she is unsure of her identity. She doesn't out and out say that, but I think it's pretty obvious that's something that she's expressing, and that she is, because of that, looking for her identity in a lot of different ways. And she does say in the reading specifically, she's looking for answers. She indicates that she is not a typical Chinese, that she's not a typical American, which I don't know that you can see that real well because I think that There we go. Yeah, now you maybe can see that better, that she's not typical American. And I'll just leave that there. And that she feels, and she says it's torn between being Chinese and American. So those are some of the ways that she might describe herself. And notice I didn't use all the arrows, so you don't have to in your identity charts. You can add arrows too, which I did on mine, which you'll see in a minute. Now the outward facing arrows are how she might describe how she feels others might see her. And the inward facing arrows. Outward facing arrows, how she sees herself. Inward, how those looking out at her from the outside, looking in, might describe how they see her. And she says she feels shunned by other Asians, meaning that she feels like she's rejected or outcast by them. Some might see her as being an American. Some might see her as being Chinese. I think she feels that others see her as not fitting in, or maybe as an outcast, or she sees herself, and I missed this one, not a typical American, or I think I did mention that. Okay. So these are some of the ways, some things that she might put on here. I don't know if I mentioned this, that she feels judged by Americans. I think we can pick that up. So this is what an identity chart might look like for her, at least based on what I gathered from the reading. So now let me pull this back out of the way. And hopefully I can get it to pull. There I go. And I want to pull in the identity chart that I created for myself. And this will help you get to know me a little better, maybe. So there we go, David Stone. And and I had to think about this, and I have to admit it was a little uncomfortable doing that. I just lost my image. So just bear with me. There I am again. Hopefully you see me. But some of the ways that I see myself, and notice one of the things I did was I combined some of these. So caring, compassionate, and kind. I feel like that is something how I see myself, and that's important. Beware, my youngest son just left his room. I hear his footsteps, so we may have some background noise here in a second. I think that others may see me in that manner as well. Hope it was my older son. So I combined those, and notice I did add some as well. I see myself as one who values education, learning, and asking questions, which is you'll learn from me. I think education, a lot of times people think about getting all the answers. I think education is about learning to ask questions and more questions, and that's what's valuable. And I see myself as a lifelong learner, and because of that, a lifelong questioner. I see myself as a spiritual person. That was a very important element of who I feel that I am. I see myself, and this is cut off a little bit in the document here, in the scan, but as a teacher and an educator. And this says vocation, and I won't get into what I mean by that, but it means it's more than just a job for me, in short. Here, again, these two combined, I put down that I see myself as one who likes to listen to people and hear their stories, and not tooting my own horn, but I've had students share with me in the past that they feel comfortable talking to me, so I try to listen to people. I see myself as one who values my family. My family is very important to me. My wife, my sons, my extended family, and now there is more background noise, but that's okay. Self-giving. I want to give of myself to others. Detail-oriented. That's the word I would use. Others maybe would say uptight, which I think I have another place. But very detail-oriented, especially in work that I do. Introspective. I like to think inwards and think about how things, who I am and why I am who I am. Now, how others might see me. Oh yeah, another one that I put down, and this should have been an outward arrow, and I put it in the wrong place, but a reader and book lover, so I should have put an arrow there. I love to read, I love books. I think people that know me well would say that too, so I could have put arrows going both ways there. Again, I think others probably see me as compassionate, caring, kind, I hope for. I think a lot of people, and this is a joke with my wife and I here lately, might call me wound tight. And to go along with that as one that worries too much. Self-critical, lacks self-confidence. I've had students say to me, Mr. Stone, you're too hard on yourself. Um, I just see that as self-deprecating humor, but sometimes people see that as self-critical, lacks self-confidence, insecure. So that's perception. Again, I hope others see me as a listener. Scattered, especially when I talk in class, and you guys won't experience that as much, but you're getting to see it in these videos. Sometimes I bounce around a little bit, and sometimes I'm not the most organized person. So that is something. Some, especially I have some family members who feel that I'm overworked and too busy. Um, and then students, I think a lot of times see me as one who rambles, and they like to give me a lot of grief about that. My sons do too. They like to give me a lot of grief about rambling. So those are some things that indicate how, again, outward facing arrows. I see myself, inward facing arrows, how others. Again, this is going to take some thought. And the first time you do it, you might want to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes doing it and set it aside and come back to it later. Because I think if you do that, as you process, more things will pop into your head. So don't feel like you need to just do this and turn it in, but do it, let it set for a bit, and come back and revisit it a couple of times before you submit it. And in submitting it, you will, I should note, you will be, just trying to see my video controls here. You will be, tinkering with my computer trying to figure something out. But you will do this paper pencil. You can print a copy of the chart and do it on that. If you don't have those capabilities, just take a blank piece of paper and draw one yourself. It's a pretty simple diagram to do, and I'm okay with that. If you want to wait until you can come to class and print a hard copy of it out, you can do that as well. And then you'll just take a picture of the work that you've created here, and you will upload it and submit it on Canvas. And as I said, nobody else will see this except for me, but you will have a Flipgrid assignment where you're going to be talking about yourself based on the ideas that you did here, and maybe even a journal assignment to go along with this. So this is just to provide you with a model, an example of what the Starburst identity charts that you're going to create for yourself might look like. Hope this was helpful.